Since I have encountered so many synchronicities the past few weeks, this book came to mind. I bought that around 2012, 2013, something like that. I'm not sure. But I had it in my shelf for quite some years, and I read maybe 80% of the book, leafing through it. So I will definitely go through that book again, reading it thoroughly. The Knowing. The first secret shows us that once we recognize coincidence as meaningful, we open ourselves to new information, new possibilities, new belief systems. Synchronicity. The coming together of inner and outer events in a way that can't be explained by cause and effect, and that is meaningful to the observer. Because of synchronicity, we felt we were on a roll. In September 1984, Trish sold her first novel In Shadow, and Rob landed a ghostwriting project for the CEO of a Washington-based company, a contact we had made through writing magazine articles. A year later, Rob sold his first novel, Crystal Skull. We never returned to our day jobs. During the 26 years of our marriage, we've written 60 books, both fiction and non-fiction. We've gone wherever the synchronicities have led us. Many times we talked about writing a book about synchronicity, but we didn't know how to do it, what approach to take, or where to start. Carl Jung seemed the logical place to begin, considering he had coined the term. But over the years, other projects took up our time, and we always put the Synchronicity book on hold. Yet our synchronicities multiplied. One night in January 2009, we started playing around with the idea again. We were interested in anecdotes, the stories that illustrated the magic and mystery of synchronicity. Pathways of chance. I called it the space between. It was an idea that could be applied in many areas, particularly to describe what happens when you look at art or read a work of literature. It is the space that lies between the observer and the observed. It is the space of the creative act that brings a poem or painting to life. And it's the space where synchronicities are born. A synchronicity can simply serve to attune your awareness, to remind you that beneath the surface of daily life there's an underlying reality and unity that may not be immediately obvious. A synchronicity can serve as guidance, warning, affirmation, creative inspiration, and/or as evidence of individuation and psychological growth. It can offer a glimpse into your future and cause you to feel you're on the right track, in the groove, exactly where you're supposed to be. All synchronicities, even the darker ones, that caution us, have a mysterious quality. This book will guide you toward becoming more aware of synchronicity. It will help you to decipher synchronicity's sometimes cryptic message and to engage its power for transformation so that you can improve your life and well-being. It does this by presenting stories and synchronicity practices that will enable you to make associations and interpret metaphors and symbols. In other words, the material in this book helps you to mine your own unconscious for answers. With that in mind, dive into the secrets and embrace the synchronicities that begin to flow into your life. As Jean Shinoda Bolen noted in The Tao of Psychology, Synchronicity and the Self. Synchronicity holds the promise that if we will change within, the pattern in our outer life will change also. Once you become aware of synchronicities, they tend to proliferate. And as they increase in frequency, you can't simply keep ignoring them. You begin to dig for answers, to make associations, as Jung did, between the golden scarab rebirth and his patient. Sometimes a single dramatic experience is all it takes to awaken you to the magic that constantly hums around us, to how synchronicity is constantly at work in our lives. For example, you may randomly open a book and read a line that precisely addresses a question on your mind. Or you feel discouraged about a relationship, your job or finances, and you're about to give up. Then something unexpected occurs that makes you realize things aren't as dire as you thought. In each example, synchronicity is at work, and it's up to you to decipher the message. That is exactly what Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung did when he first encountered a meaningful coincidence. We also felt that there is an active magical element in which human beings can engage synchronicity and direct it for their own purposes. That magic became the subject of part 2 of this book. Technology, the internet, blogs, email, facilitated our research and made it possible to collect synchronicities from all over the world. Apparently, we weren't ready to write the book until the technology existed that would allow us to make new contacts and gather stories. For example, one story. He pulled the object free, carried it out, and brushed off a corroded teapot. That's when he realized the significance of his discovery. The teapot I just found, buried under my house, was identical to the teapot I'd brought home from the thrift store a few days earlier. Same design, same size, same materials, same hinges, same spout, the same teapot. Gabe was a left-brain sort of guy. Rational, skeptical, an atheist not given to mysticism. Yet, he followed his impulses and experienced a synchronicity so powerful that it changed him at a profound level. In an email, which included a photo of the two remarkably similar teapots, he added, "I have become a regular experiencer and appreciator of synchronicity, and changed my beliefs about many things in the world. It's a far weirder and more wonderful place than I'd ever dared believe." Shortly after we posted his story, Gabe began his own synchronicity blog and continues to investigate the nature of this phenomenon. On your journey, you'll discover that synchronicities happen in many guises. They can be as simple as thinking a word and then hearing that very word the moment you turn on the radio or TV. Or they can be as layered and complex as Gabe's teapot synchronicity. Sometimes a synchronicity seems to poke fun at you. Other times it's emotionally charged, as a great novel. Synchronicities often address huge, sweeping themes that are common to all of us, what Carl Jung called archetypes. The collective unconscious and archetypes. In addition to the word synchronicity, Jung coined two other terms that are now well known, the collective unconscious and archetypes. Page 12. He arrived at his theories because he wasn't a typical psychoanalyst. Jung never went through formal analysis himself, but used instead his personal myths as the starting point to formulate what he believed were enduring objective truths. He juxtaposed his personal myths against the myths of many disparate cultures, eventually adding new terms to the common vocabulary and new ways of thinking about ideas. Glad he did. The collective unconscious is like the DNA of the human race, a psychic repository of our history as a species. It contains images Jung called archetypes that are common to all people regardless of cultural background, nationality, or religious beliefs. We find these images in mythology, folklore, fairy tales, legends, hallucinations, fantasies, and dreams. Mother, father, child, family, wise old man or woman, animal, hero, trickster, shadow, persona. And those are just the more universal images. Archetypes represent our common experiences as human beings. When used effectively in movies and novels, they stay with us. One of the best known examples of the trickster is Bugs Bunny. His trademark smirk and ever-present carrot are known around the world. The trickster is beautifully illustrated in The Wizard from The Wizard of Oz. He portrayed himself as all-powerful, but his power was just smoke and mirrors, a trick of the light. He is also the embodiment of persona, our public faces, the masks we wear to create impressions on others. Another vivid archetype is Darth Vader in the Star Wars movies. He actually embodies two archetypes, Father and the Shadow. That instinctive primal part of us where evil may reside. Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs depicts the shadow in the most perverse and evil form. With synchronicities, we experience archetypes in different ways, sometimes as figures, but also as patterns of behavior, experiences, and situations. Page 13. What are the odds? Odds are frequently an important component of synchronicity. Think of the last time you experienced something and were overwhelmed at the odds of that particular thing happening. Oh yeah, holy cow. So many times. I was just flabbergasted. Just amazing at how it was orchestrated. Completely mind-blowing. These kinds of synchronicities hint at a deeper order in the universe that physicist David Bohm called the implicate or unfolded order, a kind of primal soup that births everything in the universe. Bohm believes even time unfolds from the implicate order. He referred to our external reality as the explicate order. Synchronicity, then, is where the implicate and the explicate, the inner and the outer, coincide. Deciphering the message. Deciphering the message is often the trickiest part of any synchronistic experience. What is the universe trying to tell you? Are you being warned? Is the experience a confirmation about something that's going on in your life? Is it a suggestion to turn in a different direction? Why did you attract this particular experience? What's the deeper meaning? In an interview in Psychology Today, physicist Carl Pribram said, "If you look at the universe with a holographic system, you arrive at a different view, a different reality. And that other reality can explain things that have hitherto remained inexplicable scientifically." Paranormal phenomena, synchronicities, the apparent meaningful coincidence of events. Ray Grass writes in The Waking Dream, unlocking the symbolic language of our lives. A symbol might appear to you as a peculiar cloud pattern, the unexpected sighting of an animal, the discovery of an unusual object, a hidden message delivered in a casual conversation. Grass calls these environment symbols. They hold messages and clues about the patterns in our lives. The challenge lies in recognizing and interpreting these symbols. By becoming aware of them and understanding their significance, we gradually learn the language of symbols and are able to unlock the messages of such synchronicities more easily. Hopke wrote, "In all synchronicities, what is important is not the objective facts of the coincidences, but the emotional impact they had on the people involved. Emotional impact, that's what moves mountains. And when we bring our intentions and desires into the equation, magic happens. There are times when we want something so badly we are willing to do the work necessary to bring about change, that the universe responds quickly, literally, in a way we can't dismiss as random coincidence." We experience synchronicities for reasons that may not be immediately obvious, and when they manifest themselves through impulses, we need to act to follow the impulse. Yes, our left brains will holler and shriek about our irrational behavior and will hurl our numerous reasons why the impulses should be ignored. But when we're tuned to the reality of synchronicity and view coincidence as meaningful, we become active participants in a deeper layer of life. If we ignore the impulses, we do so at our own peril. As F. David Peat noted in Pathways of Chance, synchronicities can occur when people enter into times of crisis or change. When they are in love, engaged in highly creative work, or on the verge of a breakdown. These are moments when the boundaries of mind and matter are transcended and people escape from the normal, hard and fast distinctions they make between inner, outer, subjective, objective, psyche, matter. It shouldn't come as any surprise, then, that during these peak emotional experiences, synchronicities crash into our lives. It is as if the universe is eager to offer guidance, to help us. In a society that places the highest value on the objective mind, on the left brain's reasoning and rationale, emotions are often viewed with suspicion, as a pollutant of some kind, and yet the very nature of a synchronicity is subjective and emotional. Synchronicity urges us to delve into the parts of ourselves that we may not be ready or willing to explore. Sometimes synchronicities begin with an impulse to do something we've never done before. Connections to people. Our relationships provide richly textured atmospheres for the occurrence of synchronicity. Friendships connect us to something larger than ourselves, awakening us to a mysterious realm that exists outside of cause and effect. You might make a new acquaintance and discover you and your friend have similar interests, have had similar experiences, and even know some of the same people. You might encounter friends in places where you wouldn't expect to know anyone.